Tandon. As I was introduced, I'm an innovator. I take a lot of pride in calling myself an innovator. And today I'm going to talk to you about a subject that's something I'm very passionate about, which is innovation. And how that has the power of transforming everyone's life around us. And I've been lucky sometimes that I've been at the cusp of some of these interesting experiments, which has created impact at a global scale too. So I'm going to share about a little bit about that. But before I go into this, let me take a step back and talk to you about something very fundamental. Every day, and I'm sure on your way to this place, to TEDxMoulsari Avenue, you must have seen a lot of things, right? But how often do we really just see versus do we really observe? Do we ask ourselves a simple question, a simple why, a small detail about what we see, and think and observe, right? Now, when you observe, that creates a spark of journey to know a little bit more, because then you realize that you can solve something. You have seen a friction point. Now, an innovator doesn't just look or stop at observations. An innovator goes way beyond. An innovator is a person who then goes out and obsesses over that. And that's exactly what I'm talking to you about. The going or the journey from observation to obsessions, right? And it's very important how you go about that, because the innovator doesn't stop there at the obsession. He sees, or he or she sees, a problem statement, a friction point, and how to solve for these and make the world a better place, ideally transform the world, right? And it is not about a very, very big misconception about innovation. More often than not is that innovation is about having a grand vision, solving something very big. No, that's a misconception. Innovation is actually looking at ordinary things around us all the time and finding the extraordinary potential in that. And that is where humanity has seen so many breakthroughs through the history of humanity, the natural order. And that creates so much of value for people around us at any point in time. And I'll give you a lot of examples around this as well. These breakthroughs are relevant for all of us at any point in time. This is what I was talking to you about. This is a complete journey. It goes from a very simple thing, which is our observation. Then we start coupling that observation with persistence till it becomes an obsession. That obsession then goes on to become an innovation, because you are innovating, you're running a truthful, honest experiment, and sometimes it yields certain results, which then transforms humanity at large. And this, like I said, right, this is part of the natural order. Everywhere around us you see this. In animals, and not just our species of Homo sapiens, but in any other species as well. For example, if you look, a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. There's so many examples like that. If you go back in the history of time and history of humans, very interestingly, what we notice is a simple thing. Humans, early humans, were very scared of fire. They noticed volcanoes leading to fires, they noticed lightnings leading to fires, they were terrified. But they didn't stop there. The intent of the humans was simple. How do I control fire? And it's in that control of fire were they able to actually get to cooking, warmth, societies and communities and civilization at large. It didn't stop there again. We noticed as humans that logs move easily as against pulling solid objects, right? That led to wheels. Wheels led to trade explosion and travel explosion. Again, benefiting the humanity at large, benefiting civilization. Didn't stop there. Mid-centuries, we noticed another very interesting thing. Steam has the power to move things. That obsession led to realization of a machinery which is called a piston machinery, that led to a steam engine. Again, that led to a very important phase in humanity, which is industrial revolution. You saw industries growing everywhere. We saw power of steam being used for driving industries and value creation at large. Didn't stop there again. We saw a man sitting in his lab, noticing that electricity could be used to convert that into light. And now today you see lights all around us, right? Again, a story of transformation, an obsession where so many times the person did not stop, kept at it, and we got to light bulbs and a lot more. It didn't stop there. Again, a man sitting out of a lab saw a petri dish, which was a contaminated petri dish, and people would think that, fine, let's discard this, right? It's a, used up old petri dish. But that petri dish did not allow the growth of certain bacteria, and that led to the discovery of penicillin. Penicillin is the reason why we have all the drugs today out there solving for all our ailments. So again, a story of transformation. So is the case going forward with us looking at birds and their flying patterns. And we felt that maybe the birds are our teachers. A couple of brothers decided, let's figure out a way how these birds fly. And when they do, what did they build? They built the first basic aircraft, led to us traveling everywhere. I've just come from Bangalore by aircraft, and so do a lot of people every day. Sorry. So another person who discovered the petri dish as well over here, right? So there are lot of these kind of examples that I've noticed over the history, and this doesn't stop here. If you look at the current day and world, there's a fantastic gentleman who obsessed over a fact that he wanted to make computing personal, computers in every house. I don't want to name that person, but we all know him, and he's been the reason today we have phones, tablets, laptops in a very personalized way, and computing on the go. Of course, that goes beyond this now to AI, quantum. But all these technologies, all these inventions, all these innovations that you see today are not a matter of chance. There's a logical loop behind that, and that's the same loop that I'm talking about. A person got interested when they observed something. From that observation led to obsession, when that was coupled with persistence. That led to innovation, that led to transformation. Today we are able to compute. Bunch of you probably want to take photographs or reading your messages as well. This is fantastic. This is the power of compute that we have today because of these innovations. Now, I've been at the journey of innovation for about 15 odd years. Prior to that, I was also researching in biotechnology, and I changed my field. I don't do much of biotech anywhere, research today. But in 2019, I realized a very interesting problem statement. I noticed that in retail and e-commerce, a lot of consumers don't want to purchase products in certain categories from the online e-commerce platforms. They want to go to a physical location because that gives them a sense of touch, feel, tactile sensibilities. They want to understand and get guidance, personalized guidance from a store associate who's going to give them a lot of gyan and perspective about what to buy and how to buy that. I realized that's deterring e-commerce. There's a friction point in e-commerce, which is the lack of personalization, the lack of tactile capabilities. So that led me to do 3 parallel experiments. The first one was called Hyper Real AI, something that I'll talk to you about today. The second one was haptic sensibilities, which meant that if you open your phone and see something on your screen, can you touch and feel the product? Can you do that today? You can't. Can I touch rubber on my phone screen, a rubber-based product on my phone screen, and feel rubber or steel or wood? No, you can't. But that's something I tried to solve as well. And the third I was trying to do was creating intuitive surfaces using nanomaterials or graphene in specific. But those are long topics. I'll not touch upon them today. I'll talk to you more about Hyper Real AI. Now, Hyper Real AI started with a conversation in 2019 with a founder who said, Abhay, imagine a world where we will be able to, in natural language, write a script and it will turn out to a full-blown movie, something that's recently happened as well, right? In 2019, generative AI was not mainstream. Something that we use very casually today was not available. This was our long-term vision. How do we get to that? And then I connected the dots. I stayed at it and I said, why are we not using Hyper Real AI to create a personalized experience for our consumers who are shopping online? That's where I realized that it was not possible. We hit a roadblock. The first roadblock was, if you are powering transactions which are personalized with a near human agent, and this person or this agent, AI agent, has to serve millions of customers, concurrent customers at any point in time, it requires huge compute. So we actually joked about it, that current day CPU and GPUs are not capable. Eventually maybe quantum can do it. But did we stop there? No. we went the next step. We said, let's look at another application. And we looked at influencer marketing. Influencer marketing meant that a model could be trained on a person, and you can write any script and the person would say that. But it was not that easy. Today's generative AI models are far more advanced, but back then, the generative AI model was not able to read my lip movements because of my beard, was not able to look at my eye movements because of my specs. And it was very difficult to train it with that. Now I'm always used to wearing my specs, I'm always used to having my beard. But here is where the ugly looking guy is me. The self-joke the gentleman was saying earlier, this is me. I had to go through those sacrifices to make sure that I was persistently trying to solve for that problem, right? And we led to a majorly meaningful outcome. Before I go into the outcome, I want to show you this video. Hopefully that will give you a perspective about what this is all about.
Till now, creating professional quality videos has been a huge high production effort. But now you can just write the script and get a video within 5 minutes. Isn't this awesome?
It's also super easy to change my voice, so I can have a casual voice with some customer, or
change my tone when speaking with other customers. And remember, this involves no voice casting, auditions, recording, nothing.
And yes, I can also switch into a female voice, by the way.
Mind blown, right? But this is just the start. There are a variety of faces to choose from, and mix and match them with different voices each time. Good to be back, completely with my face and my voice. Let's step up together in the future of video creation.
Now this is what I was wanting to talk to you about. That we realize that this tool has a lot of power to distribute content in a more meaningful way, right? This is not deep fake. A lot of people get confused with deep fake, which is a superimposition of someone else's face on someone else's body. This is training an algorithm which understands the tonality with which you speak, the emotional expressions on your face, and how would you speak a few sentences, such that this whole video was about me typing out certain sentences and it was automatically able to generate that. Of course, the algos have got a lot more reformed. But now, if you see, there's so many such experiments out there in the market, so many such technologies out there in the market. The recent one that I saw, where a personalized message was coming to me. This personalized message was from a celebrity that I liked, and the message was very simple, which said, "Hey Abhay, Namaskar, we noticed that you like a particular black variant of a XYZ bike, and you were interested in buying it, but you were looking for financial options. अगर आपको ऑप्शन देखने हैं तो click here to make that purchase." Now this was interesting to me because now I like that celeb, and that celeb's message is coming on my WhatsApp, and I'm able to relate with that, which is increasing the conversion rates, which is relating to a personalized problem statement that is being solved for, and this can be done across different languages. Now let's shift the lens to you. Every day you must be observing a lot of things, so I want to talk to you about a little bit about what is the mantra, so to say, that I've noticed about some of the innovators who have made it successfully large transformations at scale, right? And what I've noticed is, again, it goes back to being, bringing about that obsession to observation. But how do you do that, right? It starts with a very simple thing, something that we don't do very often, which is when we look at something, just linger on for 5 more seconds. Those 5 seconds could be magical because it tells you to just stop, hold on, think through what you're seeing. And sometimes you discover a problem, a very simple friction point there, and then more often than not, most of us don't do anything. So that's where the second thing comes in. You just don't name the problem, you define the problem, which is, people were not able to move forward because the mic failed. No, the mic failed because of a circuit issue. Why did that happen, right? That becomes the second point. And then you go to the third point of making sure that you get to an actual honest experiment. You maybe try it for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, but give it a shot, right? This is now partnered with something very unglamorous, which is persistence. More often than not, persistence doesn't hold very high on the value system because it's not very exciting, it's very boring. But persistence is what changes. If, as a person, you're able to find that problem, give it a shot through an experiment, and you're persistent about it, that spark will turn into a flame through that persistence, and that flame will then lead to an innovation, which will then lead to a human level transformation. That is very important. Now, why is this very important today in the context? Now think of me, there could be so many times when it comes to persistence, I could have stopped, but I decided to shave my beard. I decided to record my video, which was not very convincing or very convenient for me at that point in time, because I had had persistence to solve for it. I had the obsession to solve for it. At the same time, we realized that because the compute capabilities are very strong, we need to pivot to something else to still use this problem and solve for this problem. So you are continuously persistent. In today's day and age, technology volatility is very high, which means every week you are seeing a new AI model, a new product which is solving something or the other. Does it really give us time to stop and take a break and observe things? We don't do that. Ethics become super critical. Today with AI, ethical challenges are becoming bigger and bigger. As you saw, there was a human clone of mine, a human avatar of mine AI generated, which was created. It could say anything. Do we stop and think about the ethical implications? As the world is evolving, we need very new and very different kind of transformations and innovations. And that is where my request to all of you is, don't stop observing. Everything that you see from here on, try to spend a few more seconds, observe that, because it's in that flame of observation and obsession will you lead to real value creation for the humanity at large. Thank you.